So I actually sent some Bitcoin to Elon, and his Twitter said that he would send some back, but I never got anything.
It's like the RuneScape doubling money.
It is just like that. Oh, hey, welcome to another episode of Tech Talk Tuesday, where we're always awesome and always put together. I'm one of your hosts, Matt Ray, and joined via cell phone in a very remote location, which is still his house. It's just like he doesn't have internet connection. Is Neil Tardy, as always. Neil, what is the situation on the ground there?
Situation on the ground is that this is only affecting like 25 people, and I just happen to be one of the 25 people.
I think it begs the question, Neil, what have you done to piss AT&T off?
I mean, I'm giving them all of the monies for my fiber internet.
You are giving them all the money.
I'm not quite sure what I did to piss off the AT&T gods.
I'm not sure either. This is Tech Talk Tuesday, where we talk about Neil's internet, and we also asked ourselves what are some fun tech stories from the past week. We bring those to you with a little bit of commentary that you will regret for the rest of your life. So, with that, let's get started. So, you get excited about having an ATM and being able to go up to that, and you think, oh, my money's safe, like no big deal. Well, yeah, turns out. So in the wild, there is now a black box attack by some thieves who are making off with some legit money. This is from Diebold, which, if you recognize the name, these are also the people that make some of the voting machines that have had some problems. What's really interesting about this is that they're actually like plugging into the ATM, and they're using a stack that is pieces of the ATM's internal software stack. So it's proprietary software. So they're trying to figure out basically what's going on here, how this has been adapted, and they had to send out this massive security alert. I'm just thankful that it wasn't me.
Yeah, I mean, this is completely fascinating to me. Like, I know, when it comes to security, particularly cybersecurity, like, you're always kind of on the back foot. Like, hackers will always be more inventive than you are. But I mean, man, just to have pieces of that software, it almost feels like like they have some sort of vulnerability, at that level. And then the hackers have gotten in to that, and now they're using that as part of their part of just how they get into the system, which is just completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
In my mind. Like, I can't believe that that has happened.
Yeah, I mean, once you have literally, I guess the equivalent of the internal kind of schema for everything in the software. I mean, they're literally kind of using it as the platform to launch off of, and so
yeah. Turns out when you know how the thing works, it's a little easy to break
it. Yeah, hold on, I'm gonna write that down.
Right.
I would if I could figure out how this keyboard works. But yeah, anyway, so good luck, and I hope your money's safe.
Right. Do we know the companies that are do we know the banks that are actually using these?
No,
I didn't. Kind of random.
Yeah, no, I didn't see a specific list, but I'm sure it's available out there somewhere. But yeah, I think it's probably pretty widespread, right? It sounds like the good news is I think some of this it primarily affects European countries, right? But I mean, if you can have access to the money, I mean, that's the greatest thing about our connected global economy is also the biggest weakness of our global connected economy, right? So, it's the weakest link kind of theory, right? If you have an in somewhere, it's you can use that for pretty much anything. So
yeah, no, that's totally fair. I was just curious if certain banks had been giving a statement hey, your money may or may not be there right now.
They actually said PNC Bank. I'm just kidding. I know that's where you bank, so I thought I would just throw that out.
Hold on a second. Let me just drop off this real fast. Well, in other news, and some not so great news for LinkedIn, they will be cutting about 6% of their workforce, which ends up being right around 1,000 jobs. This is probably as a result of the COVID. But what I thought was really interesting is that LinkedIn is taking like a really neat approach on this and giving their workers a year of health insurance, which is fabulous in this time. Because if, particularly in the US, if you don't have health insurance, like it's not going to go great for you. And then what they're also doing is they're effectively giving you a paycheck for around 6 months for just like living expenses while you find a new job, essentially. And so once that happens, you go off of that and you start getting paid on your new job. But I would really like companies to start, if they have to do layoffs, to start being proactive in that, so that we just don't get caught out. Like it always sucks to get fired, for particularly when it's no fault of your own. And so, yeah, I'd really like to see other companies kind of take this approach and saying like, hey, like, yes, we can't furlough you, but like, so we have to let you go, but here's what we're going to do for you. So yeah, I really like that.
Nice. And my Apple Watch just went off. Did you hear the ding?
I did hear the ding.
Hold on. I'm sure it's important. No, it's not.
Oh, was it the email that we just went live?
Yeah. How did you know? That's so crazy. It's almost like you just got the same one. Yeah.
Technology.
So, yeah, you're like Nostradamus or something, man. I love the LinkedIn story. I love what they're helping out there. But really, in self-serving news, is that Spotify now supports video podcasts. Right? This is huge. It says it's setting up to compete with YouTube, which we're very thankful to YouTube as a partner, and that we're going out via that route now. But I think this is something that we'll definitely take a look into. Spotify has definitely become the source for a lot of things, and is mostly known for music, particularly, and you introduced me to this, a lot of live recordings from live shows and things like that you can find on Spotify that I haven't been able to find anywhere else. And I think that's really, really cool. So this is really neat to see them kind of continue to grow. And I definitely think this is a venue that we should look into.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. Spotify's had some like major wins recently, particularly in the podcasting realm, and that they signed like Joe Rogan to an exclusive deal, who gets millions of views on like all of his like recaps on YouTube. And then so like it wouldn't be a surprise to me if he stops posting on YouTube and starts taking that over to Spotify, particularly if they're going to do video podcasts, which is what he does. So yeah, I mean, I think this is huge for Spotify, and they just continue to grow their platform, and they make it really user friendly. Like if you haven't checked out their podcast section is huge. So like if you're looking for something and you're not necessarily wanting to look on say like Apple Podcasts, Spotify is a good place to go. And they I know the Spotify Premium is a little pricey for some people, but it can be worth it.
Yeah, especially if you have a bunch of users that happen to live at your house. You can go on the family plan, and I think it's like up to 5 people, and it starts to become a lot more cost effective at that point, that each person can have their own account and have access, on mobile, and like you can, do the offline thing. And so a lot of really cool features. So it'd be interesting to see how then video plays into that and what kind of interesting features and innovations we might see come out of that.
Yeah, I'm curious what technology they're using under the hood. If they're just like jacking into a public API somewhere, like Twitch's, or if they're actually like building out their own like streaming service. Because I'd be really curious to see what they're doing there. Mostly because I feel like Spotify has a lot of resources, and that could be totally wrong, but that's the impression that I get from them. So I'm curious if they're like bootstrapping off of someone else's API, or if they're building it from the ground up.
Yeah, I'd like to see the internals of that, and I'd also like to see the internals of the Diebold ATM. Just kidding.
but not really. Oh, and with that, that's all we have for today. So thank you for joining us on this edition of Tech Talk Tuesday. If you want to read up on anything that Matt and I talked about today, you can find the links to the articles in the description below. Look at me. I nailed it this time. And while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to our channel? You will not miss any of our rambling or hilarious jokes. Come on. So yeah, just go ahead and subscribe. That way you don't miss any other editions of Tech Talk Tuesday.
True.
And while you're in the subscribing and following mood, how about you go ahead and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and or Instagram. Because we're on all of those platforms. Maybe one of these days we will have our social tags somewhere on this screen, but we don't today. So just trust me, we are there.
Because we're basic AF and proud.
That's right. And with that, we will see you next Tuesday.
We are basic AF, aren't we?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think so.